the most important outcome of this conference is really this decision on finance. I think this is a great achievement for Africa, for the whole activities of the Union, but mainly on the issues of peace and security and really peace fund. So I think this is a major achievement, and I think in the coming days I will be traveling to New York to start discussing the follow-up with our colleagues in the UN, but also with all members of the UN, in fact, because this issue, now that we assured and our leaders decided about providing the 25th percent, so now I think we will go for the implementation of the President Obama initiative to then secure the 75% for any mission authorized by the Security Council. So I think this is a bold decision and achievement. As usual, we have dealt with many conflicts and crisis situations, but I think while noting some good developments here and there, I think we focused mainly on the issues of terrorism, South Sudan, Libya, and Burundi. Those are the major issues on which we have debated and on which we have decisions. So, as you know, I think we are all concerned about the last development and unfortunate development in South Sudan, and we devoted quite a good time to this issue. As you know, both first at the level of IGAD plus, we had a summit organized here in Kigali of the leaders of IGAD, plus the 5 countries supporting IGAD on this. That is Algeria, Nigeria, South Africa, Rwanda, and Chad. And the leaders really had the occasion to hear from the representative of the government, but also the 2 former heads of state who are in voice on this matter. Former President Mokhai, who is chairing the GMEC, and also former President Konari, who is the African Union Special Envoy on this conflict. I think the explanation were followed by a debate by the heads of state, which really indicated that we have to be on the side of the people of South Sudan and also see how we can really find a quick solution to what happened and get back to the transitional government to work to deal with the many challenges that country is going through. We also decided to ask for a strict observance of the ceasefire, and also the creation of humanitarian corridors to help those who are indeed in need. We also, there is the idea of promoting a deployment of an African force within UN. So all those questions have been accepted by the summit itself, the summit of the Union, and you can find them in the decision that will be made public. So this is South Sudan. Now, Burundi also was discussed thoroughly, because on the two tracks. One is indeed what is happening in the country. the fact that still we have targeted assassinations, violation of human rights, and also the plight of displaced persons and refugees at a time also when the economy is really experiencing difficulties. So we were indeed dealing with that situation, and you can, I am sure you know that the Peace and Security Council went to Burundi last month, and I think they pursue the fact that two things. One is really how we can finalize the deployment of our humanitarian observers and our military experts. Second, how we can really promote the inclusive dialogue between Burundians as really the best way of finding a political solution to that crisis. The second element is indeed the dialogue itself, which is organized in Arusha. You may know that the second set of this dialogue was launched by President Mkapa. So I think he could not succeed in having the plenary because, he could not have the agreement of the government to sit with everybody. But he successfully had meetings, bilateral meetings, with all the participants. And we are hoping that in the next few weeks, we really see this dialogue kicking up really and working to bring us that political solution we are all looking for. So we also discussed the situation in Libya. As you can see, although we have the political agreement, until now the House of Representatives did not give the go-ahead for the government. But meanwhile, the Presidential Council and the government are trying to play their own role. They are trying to really take all the ministries in Tripoli in let's say it in a rather very difficult environment. So as you know, we are working hand in hand with UN, and the President of the Union has decided to initiate a meeting on reconciliation in N'Djamena. So hopefully, I think at this stage, this is what the Libyan people needs more, is really to bring them together and see how we can reconcile, so that they can really contribute to the efforts of putting an end to that crisis. In Libya, indeed, you know the plight of and the threat of terrorism and its implication not only in Libya itself, but also for the countries of the region and even over. So that is also another dimension of the issue. So we renewed our full readiness to support Libya, to support its people, and to try to help them in implementing the political agreement that they have signed. The other on terrorism, indeed, I don't need, I think, to develop that issue. You know it very well. Be it in Somalia, I think we informed the summit about the result of our last meeting of Chief of Defense Force that I have organized personally to adopt the CONOPS. which the main issue in this CONOPS is really to the exit strategy. That will be 2 years from now, which means in October 2018, we'll start drawing down our forces in Somalia. Meanwhile, we are going to conduct a very robust and collective attack on Juba Valley, so really to undermine and reduce the Shabab. But meanwhile, we are also devote a lot of energy for training the Somali forces and equipping them, and also implicating them in the daily combat, so that really we prepare them to take over for the responsibility of the security in their own country. So we will be also responsible for the security of the next elections, both presidential and parliamentarian. And as I told you, hopefully then in October 2018, we'll be in a position to start really reducing our presence there. And at that time, we will all hoping, us with UN, with all the partners who are helping Somali people, so that they can take over and we can move to really a more secured and peaceful Somalia. You know also the issue indeed of what is happening in the fight against Boko Haram. That was also an issue which we debated. North Mali, as you know, on the 23rd of July, we are sending another technical team together with UN and all 11 members of the Nouakchott process to see how we can deploy also an African force within UN in North Mali to help the Malian people also to preserve the gains of the peace agreement. I think those are the main issue when it comes to terrorism. And one also of the bold decision which was taken is the decision to create a special fund on combating terrorism. And this will be mainly funded by voluntary contributions. So maybe I will stop here and allow for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. You've given us an elaborate feedback of what the head of states have discussed during this summit. Now the floor is open to you, media. We will take, I can see many hands. Well, how do we proceed? Okay, let's start from my right. Have the microphone on the right front, and we'll take everybody, I can assure you.
Zhu Shaobin from China's Xinhua News Agency. Mr. Chergui, just now you talked about the special fund to combat terrorism. Could you elaborate on the fund in terms of its timetable of establishment and its value, and also the source of funding? And China has pledged funding support also to Africa, to AU standby force, apart from its other support in areas in infrastructure and industrialization. What expectations does Africa have out of this cooperation with China and other international partners? Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have the mic to the next speaker? Introduce yourself and your media, please.
Duncan Woodside from France 24 TV. I want to ask some specifics on South Sudan, in particular about the proposed deployment of the Rapid Protection Force, which would be presumably hatted under UNMISS, and also proposals for an arms embargo on South Sudan. Now, the first thing, the standby force or the protection force, was there a concrete proposal that was put to the heads of state after the IGAD meeting, for example, for that force to be recommended to the UN Security Council as something concrete to put in place? Was there a vote, a decision on that front by the heads of state? And similarly, was there any vote on the arms embargo, which is obviously something that's been talked about within the arena of the UN Security Council powers?
Let's have a last one on this side behind you. And we will take another 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. That's how we'll proceed.
Merci. Et je m'appelle André Gakwaya from Rwanda News Agency, journal Grand Lac Hebdo. Et ma question concerne toujours les terrorismes et le Boko Haram. Et ici, au Rwanda, nous avons connu des groupes armés qui ont commis le génocide, qui sont dans les forêts. Alors, quand ils parviennent à rentrer et à se repentir, nous les formons, nous les éduquons, et puis ils sont intégrés dans la communauté. Mais pour les Boko Haram, c'est un autre point, parce qu'ils ont une idéologie très profonde, extrémiste, qui va jusqu'au suicide. Même, est-ce que, quand vous êtes au combat, ou bien vous les tuez, vous les exterminez, et ceux qui sont faits prisonniers, est-ce que vous avez une méthode de les former, de les reconvertir, de leur donner une éducation religieuse musulmane et tolérante? Parce que si on les exécute, ça sera un vrai génocide et c'est très mauvais. Bon, merci.
Okay, thank you. We'll give the floor to the Commissioner to address those 3 questions. We'll take more after that.
Thank you very much. To start with the first question on the special fund on combating terrorism, I don't think I need to elaborate on the value of this, because I think the fact that we are really on a daily basis looking at what is happening here and there, and the immense tragedies and suffering for innocent people that terrorism is creating in the continent, I think we had to act with whatever means possible. And not only we are building capacities for member states through, we have, as you know, a special center on combating terrorism, where we have, where all the African countries have their representative. We call them focal points. So that is on a daily basis capacity building for those countries. But now I think combating terrorism is very expensive, and really we need those countries who are doing that fight on the name of their own security, the security of their region, Africa, but also the whole world, deserves support. That's why I think creating this fund is really a good development, and we hope that, as usual, we will meet the solidarity of the Africans, but also the international community and our partners. I think this is a common threat, which needs also a global approach, a global treatment. So when it comes to the contribution of China, I think China is one of major partners. I think in the coming weeks we might start implementing what the President of China announced in New York last year about the contribution to the African Standby Force. I think he did announce 100 million on 5 years, and I think China now is ready to contribute for the first year. So, and also China has been helping also on Somalia situation. The second question on South Sudan and the force, let me just be a little bit candid with you that when we were discussing with our UN colleagues the deployment of UNMISS at that time, we have tried to see if we could have a different rule of engagement, at least for the African component of that force, just in case we are faced with the situation that we are faced with today. Well, I think at that time maybe the it was not felt that that issue is mature enough. But I think today we see the necessity of revisiting, in fact, most of the mandates of UN missions in Africa. You see, North Mali is the same problem because UN does not have the mandate to impose peace. They are there when there is peace to keep. And that's the added value of African troops and African countries. They are ready to engage in very difficult situations, often even without all the necessary equipment and personnel, but we are ready to do that because we think that it's our responsibility. So hopefully now it's not that theoretical debate that we should have, but how we can really act quickly so that we can allow South Sudan to continue implementing the peace agreement and also start working on reconciliation and healing. I think it's so important, and also deal with the plight of humanitarian crisis. We have a humanitarian crisis there. So on the issue of the question on how the Boko Haram, je vais vous répondre en français. Hein? D'accord. Je crois que votre question est très importante et pertinente. Et personnellement, j'ai eu à visiter ici vos camps de réinsertion. Donc j'ai visité le Rwanda et j'ai visité un de ces camps. Et effectivement, c'est une bonne expérience. Pour le terrorisme, il faut toujours une approche complète. Vous devez non seulement donc déployer les moyens de force, mais également vous adresser aux causes profondes de ce phénomène. C'est-à-dire pourquoi les gens se sont radicalisés. Est-ce que c'est à cause du non-respect des droits de l'homme? Est-ce que c'est à cause du fait qu'on a marginalisé ces gens? Est-ce que parce que la société, ils ne sont pas intégrés dans leur société et surtout à tout ce qui se fait dans cette société en matière de développement et de gouvernance? Donc ce sont aussi les questions auxquelles il faut s'adresser si on veut trouver des solutions durables à cette question du terrorisme. Et par rapport, donc c'est en s'adressant à ces questions que nous pouvons stopper la radicalisation de nos jeunes, en particulier ceux qui sont fragiles. Et je pense que c'est le cas dans tout le Sahel. Et la fragilité aussi touche au fait qu'ils sont sans emploi et donc ils peuvent être facilement recrutés soit par ceux qui sont derrière l'économie criminelle ou les terroristes eux-mêmes. Donc la solution quand il y a des prisonniers ou s'il y a... Parce que dans la solution, il faut également recourir aux chefs religieux et également aux médias pour expliciter et pour réellement démonter le message des groupes terroristes qui poussent à la radicalisation. Donc il faut réellement le défaire, ce message. Et ça, vous avez besoin d'une véritable campagne médiatique, du recours des chefs religieux, des femmes et je crois et d'autres moyens. Et par conséquent, s'il y a des gens qui sont arrêtés, s'il y a des gens qui se rendent compte qu'ils ont été vraiment détournés, c'est là qu'intervient la déradicalisation. Et je crois que c'est comme je le disais tout à l'heure, c'est vraiment une approche globale si nous voulons avoir des effets durables sur ce phénomène.
Okay, let's take the next three set of questions. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you very much. My name is Colin Smail. I write for the New York Times Daily. It's a local English daily. And maybe to be frank, as a Commissioner of the African Union, does the postponement of the elections affect in any way or derail the work done by commissioners like yourself or the output of the commission? And then still on the same, what conversations did you have at the summit regarding the speed of deployment of African Union forces, the speed and the conduct? Because we can see some issues of the behavior of some peacekeepers, say in Central Africa, in Somalia, some by the African Union peacekeepers as well as the UN peacekeepers. So on speed and on speed and mandate and conduct. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Yes, my name is Ahmed from BBC. A related question to what my colleague said, and there's a contradictory here. You are saying you are deploying to South Sudan, and you are thinking to deploy to Burundi while you are removing your soldiers from Somalia. So what is the rationale in here? And my second question is, there will be elections in Somalia, maybe August or September. So, and you met Somalia officials here. Is there a possibility to postpone Somalia elections while we know AU has officials there and sent and delegated to Somalia? And yes, give us the deadline that you are deploying to South Sudan, the last date. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Clemar Uringimana for Reuters. Mine is about South Sudan too. When you are talking that you are thinking of a quick intervention to Sudan to help these people who are dying, so 300 people dead. How quick is quick? Then how quick is it? When are you going there? And how many troops are you thinking maybe to put it into that UN mission? And another question is about the pull out of Somalia. You are thinking of pulling out of Somalia, but Uganda has said it will pull out by 2017, and also we know that there has been some financial constraints in your financing of the missions. Isn't that another reason maybe you are pulling out of Somalia? Because still, another also question, do you think Somalia will be peaceful by 2018? Thanks.
Thank you. The last question for this round, and we'll continue with the next round after the responses.
Thank you. Nick Long, Voice of America. How did the heads of state treat the request from the King of Morocco for the readmission of his country to the Union?
Excellency, you have the floor.
Thank you. I think when it comes to deploy any force, you know, we have rules. We have what we call shared value. That is what we are really looking for. That's the respect of human rights, our policy of zero tolerance on misconduct, especially on sexual violence. We have the training of the force, and you know, before you deploy them, we make sure that all these elements are really complied with. So we don't deploy like deploying for deploying. So now we don't have any force in Central Africa Republic. So that question you should pose it to the UN. It's not our force. Now, when it comes to the election of the Commission, I think the conference, I mean, this is the democracy. We went to the election, and none of the three candidates for the chair of the union got the necessary votes. So according to the rules, we have to postpone the election, and I think this will not have any implication about our normal functioning, the normal functioning of the Commission. So we are continuing the work, and I don't think there will have any implication. On South Sudan, when are we going? We all agree that the situation is urgent, but I was saying within the UN mission. So I think in the coming days, the Security Council will meet to discuss this proposal. And when it comes to the generating the force, that's our responsibility, and we are ready for that. We are ready for that. Now you came with other many questions. I think you are really going up and down. I think if you followed my initial introduction, I said we will be drawing down, convinced that the Somali National Army and forces are up to their mandate of taking responsibility for the security of the country. And we will train them, we will equip them. So I think if we have that satisfaction, then by October 2018, we will start dropping down. I think this mission has been there since 2007, and we are there to help the Somali people to really recover their own security. So, and although the salaries of our troops have been cut by 20%, our women and men are still ready to help their brothers and sisters in Somalia. So I think at the end it did not have a very high implication on their moral. So the question, I think now I responded to the issue of pulling out from Somalia. Now, I think the question of Morocco did not come at any time officially.
Thank you. Let's take the next round of questions behind. Just send the microphone behind. We'll take 3 here and 3 there. No, you. Yes, proceed, please, you.
The 3 before the last.
The 3 before the last, the Commissioner is reminding me. Use your mic, please. It should be working.
Stéphanie Aglietti pour l'AFP et RFI. Alors, est-ce que les pays de la région se sont mis d'accord sur l'envoi des troupes au Soudan du Sud dans cette force de protection et quels sont, si oui, quels sont ces pays et combien de troupes? Et au-delà de cette force, est-ce que il ne faut pas mettre fin finalement à la cohabitation des deux armées dans Juba, ces deux armées hostiles? Est-ce que vous en avez discuté? Est-ce que c'est sur la table? Et enfin, qu'en est-il du président Salva Kiir qui dit qu'il ne veut pas d'armée étrangère dans son pays? Merci.
Thank you. Let's get the second question.
Thank you so much. My name is Julius Bismung. I'm working for the New Times. So on the issue of South Sudan, one of the proposals from the special IGAD meeting was to immediately impose the arms embargo to Sudan. But some of the South Sudanese leaders are saying, this will not be welcome, citing that the issue or the proposal of imposing the arms embargo will put the country, into vulnerability, saying that there are some of the neighboring countries which are sometimes hostile to South Sudan. And so what are other alternative measures that are in place, to stop the crisis and bring back the lasting peace in Sudan? Thank you.
Pass the mic to the lady behind, and please let's not repeat questions that were already asked before so that we can be more efficient with the Commissioner's time.
Commissioner Regina Jengere from the New African Magazine. Mine will be very quick. It concerns the other African state, which is the diaspora. And this is coming from our readers, actually, because there was a Twitter feed. They want to know if the African Union has taken any position about the police brutality in America. And another one, if you've got any position on the Biafran situation in Nigeria.
Thank you. Can we have that last?
Okay.
Can you repeat your question? News African Magazine.
Diaspora is so important for us. So
yes, the diaspora. Well, this actually question is related to our social media. People were writing in, and they want us to ask you if the African Union is taking any position or talking to President Obama about what is happening in America about the killing of African descendants. Should I put it that way? And the other one was if there's any position or any discussion at all or any comment on the situation in Biafra.
Okay, the last for this race. Okay.
شكرا. my question Arabic to ambassador. سعد السفير أنا طبعا هنا كده قلنا ننوع أسألك بالعربي. سعد السفير في القمة أقريتم صندوق لمكافحة الإرهاب. ده سؤال واحد. والسؤال الثاني ما هو الجهود التي بذلها مجلس الأمن والسلم الأفريقي لمحاربة القاعدة والشباب وتنزيل والداعش في شمال القارة؟ فبالتالي يمكن أن تشرح لنا، وإذا كانت في إمكانية الانقلابات عبرت أفريقيا وانتقلت إلى تركيا، هل يمكن أن تحدثنا فيها؟ شكرا.
شكرا. Commissioner, you have the floor.
Thank you. Pour la question de RFI, je crois que avant même qu'on vienne ici à Kigali, les chefs d'état-major des pays de l'IGAD se sont réunis à Addis Abeba. Et donc ils ont discuté de la nature de la force, de sa dimension. Et donc, c'est une discussion qui va continuer dans les jours qui suivent, maintenant que nous avons cette décision. Et le Conseil de paix et sécurité doit se réunir immédiatement pour valider cette décision. Et donc, après, l'adresser au Conseil de sécurité pour que la décision soit réellement, si elle est prise au niveau du Conseil de sécurité, à ce moment-là, on pourra réellement entrer dans le vif du sujet. Et comme je vous l'ai dit, pour la générer ces forces, le problème ne se pose pas, tant au niveau de la région elle-même, mais j'ai eu aussi des assurances d'autres pays d'Afrique australe et du Rwanda lui-même qui sont prêts à offrir des bataillons si jamais donc cette décision est adoptée. Comment maintenant évidemment concilier cette décision avec la prise de position du gouvernement que pour le moment il ne voudrait pas davantage de force. Je crois que c'est le travail qui nous attend dans les prochains jours et j'espère que nous pourrons trouver un terrain d'entente qui pourrait favoriser donc la promotion de la paix et de la sécurité dans ce pays. C'est une question pertinente. Donc, nous ne pouvons évidemment envisager d'imposer une seule force que si nous avons une force évidemment qui va sécuriser, qui va permettre à tout le monde de se sentir à l'aise, protégé, et que Juba est réellement prise en charge dans sa totalité. Donc c'est une précondition. Mais évidemment, même le fait d'avoir accepté les deux armées était transitoire, si vous vous rappelez bien, dans l'accord. Donc c'est à cela que nous devons nous atteler également dans les prochains jours. Merci. The question of imposing sanctions or embargo, I think it did not come in our decision here. Yeah, we are still on South Sudan, yes. I have here the draft decision, and we are still hoping that we don't reach to that level. I think we are still hoping that the ceasefire can hold, and it is holding as we speak, and that the transitional government will go back to its work, and through the transitional government, with the support of GMEC and the Africa Union, I think we'll hopefully find the best way to deal with those issues. The questions of diaspora, I think we don't have to talk to President Obama, as he is himself really not happy, and as you can see, this is a matter that on which he has been taking the floor many times, and also so indeed this is an internal issue to the USA, and I think they will have the means, and I think they have also the political will to deal with it. I mean, President Obama, as the first black American president, I think you can only give him all credit to deal with the issue in the best way of the security in that country. I don't see, for us, Biafra is part of Nigeria, and we are really attached to its integrity, and I don't see in any way that this issue can be brought again after all what happened in the 60s. I think Nigeria is a great country of our union, and we will stand side by side with Nigerian people to preserve its unity and integrity and development and its leading role in Africa and in the world. Arabic. طبعا كما تفضلت أنت بنفسك، هذه تعتبر قرار مهم جدا فيما يخص مكافحة الإرهاب، في خلق هذا الصندوق. طبعا من شأنه أن يدعم يعني المجهودات التي تبذل من دول أعضاء، من الأفارقة، وكذلك من المجموعة الدولية، لأنه هذه طبعا مشكلة ذات طابع عالمي، ويتطلب منا التصرف معها بطريقة مثالية، بطريقة يعني يلتم شملنا جميعا فيها. وكما لاحظت يعني إلى جانب القرارات المهمة التي اتخذت في تمويل كل أجهزة الاتحاد بما فيها الأمن والسلم وبالتالي الإرهاب، فهذه طبعا تعتبر إضافة نوعية لهذا الجهد، بما قياسا ب يعني ما يتطلب من إمكانيات هائلة لمكافحة الإرهاب. فأظن أن المكافحة نفسها تتطلب دعم أساسي، وكذلك تبعيات هذا الإرهاب من دمار، من تشريد، فكل هذا يتطلب يعني جهد خاص من المجموعة الدولية. فنأمل أن يكون لهذا الصندوق يعني قبول جيد وتعامل أحسن في الأيام والأشهر القادمة. أظن في تدخلي في البداية كنت تطرقت إلى ما نقوم به فيما يخص مكافحة الإرهاب، سواء في الصومال للشباب، سواء القاعدة في شمال مالي، أو بوكو حرام في بين ما بين نيجيريا والنيجر وتشاد. فأظن أن الجهد مكثف، وحقيقة حققنا تقدم باهر فيما يخص الصومال، وسنقوم أميسوم ستقوم بتحضير لهجوم مكثف في عما قريب فيما يخص جوبا فالي، لأن هذه المناطق التي هي الآن متواجدين فيها بكثافة. ونأمل في الحقيقة أننا من خلال هذا الجهد كذلك أن نستثمر في تدريب القوات الصومالية، ومساعدة بالأمم المتحدة وكل أصدقائنا حتى يعني نحضرهم للقيام وأخذ مسؤولياتهم، مسؤوليات الأمن والسلم في بلدهم. نحن نقول أننا يعني نثق في أننا في أكتوبر 2018 ربما سنحقق يعني نتائج لا يمكن الرجوع عنها في هذا الميدان، وبالتالي نكون مؤمنين في ابتداء يعني الخروج أو إنقاذ قواتنا. فإن شاء الله طبعا نضرب معكم موعد لنقف على ما حققناه في هذا الميدان. ونفس الشيء أنا تكلمت بأننا يوم 23 هذا جويليا ستكون بعثة تقنية للاتحاد الإفريقي، الأمم المتحدة، وكل الدول التي تشاركنا في نواكشوط بروسيس، حتى يعني نعمل تصور لبعثة إفريقية في إطار بعثة الأمم المتحدة في شمال مالي لمكافحة الإرهاب هناك. وإلا فاتفاق السلام هناك ممكن أن يعطل. إذن فيما يخص قضية الانقلاب، طبعا أنت عارف أنه منذ قمة الجزائر، قرار الجزائر، ثم بيان لومي، نحن طبعا نندد ولا نقبل أي انقلاب عسكري أو الأخذ الحكم بالقوة. وبالتالي من البديهي أننا لا يمكن، إذا كنا لا نقبله في إفريقيا لا يمكن كذلك أن نقبله. أظن أنه ونحن في هذا القرن 21 بما شهدته الساحة الدولية من تقدم والحضور المكثف للإعلام وطرق أخرى للتعامل، فأظن أنه هناك لابد أن في أي دولة ممكن أن تجد طرق للتفاوض والتناقش والوصول إلى حلول سلمية واحترام الدستورات في كل هذه الدول. فأظن أنه مثل هذه التصرفات منبوذة وغير مقبولة في القارة الأفريقية، وبالمآل لا نقبلها كذلك في الخارج.
Excellency, with your permission, can we take a last round of questions given the importance of peace and security issues in the continent? Yes, please. Have the microphone this way.
The last question.
The last question, I'm told. Please, the mic.
Yes.
Right here in front of you. It's not working? Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ambassador Chergui. Lisa Low-Vaudran from the PSC report. I just want to understand this force. Is it like the Force Intervention Brigade in the DRC that is separate from the rest of the UN mission with a strong mandate and a stronger capacity? Or is it the whole of the UN miss that is going to have a stronger mandate and more people? And then the other question was, I know it's not strictly peace and security, but we were told that there's a proposal on the table at the Executive Council to withdraw from the ICC. And was that ever discussed? Was the ICC issue ever on the table of the heads of state? Thank you very much.
Okay, that was the last question. Excellent.
I think you are absolutely right. I think what we are looking for is exactly the type of the African brigade that we have within MONUSCO in DRC. I think we are looking for that there in South Sudan and in North Mali. Hopefully, if we if we can pursue that in the Security Council in New York. So when it comes to your second question, I think the issue was discussed, and you know, we have a ministerial committee working on that, on the issue of ICC. But more importantly, I think what is important to highlight here is that through Hissan Habri process, we proved that we can have also that we are not tolerating the impunity, and we can have African approach to these issues. I think you all know that we are busy also preparing for the hybrid court for South Sudan. So we are determined to really not allow any impunity and to deal with any issues related to mass killing or mass violating of human rights in the continent, hopefully with African means. I thank you very much.
With this, we have come to the press conference of the Commissioner for Peace and Security, His Excellency Ambassador Smail Chergui. We want to thank you, Excellency, for coming, for creating time out of your busy schedule, even though you said it was the journalists who were patient. You were also very patient with us to come here at the end of the summit, and we think that we had the best of you as usual. Don't go away, journalists, please. I'm just giving time to the live stream team to get ready.